So it seems Hasbro has finally decided to listen to the fans when it comes down to plastic on packaging. We also get to take a look at what Megatron may or may not look like if he appears at all in Transformers Rise of the Beasts. And on top of that, Takara is going to be releasing another 2-pack for their premium finish with Beast Wars. Of course, I've got a lot to talk about, so sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. So the first thing I want to talk to you today about is Megatron, as he has rumored to being appearing in Transformers Rise of the Beasts, and it seems like this is the control art that they are using for packaging for a Megatron toy. I think that they are repurposing an already existing, I think it's either a Cyberverse or something else, of another Megatron figure, and they're using this art. I think this is what he was supposed to appear like in the Bumblebee movie, and they probably just handed that art off to the toy designers and to maybe even the same company that's working on Rise of the Beasts. But this is what we get to see. And if this is what Megatron was supposed to look like, you know, in the Bumblebee movie, in Rise of the Beasts, then awesome. He looks exactly like how Megatron should. And I was always said, like, the thing about when I think about Transformers characters and their designs is that they should be recognizable. Even if there are some things that I may be very critical on, like in this particular case, Megatron's face is there's too much metal plating on him, but it still works. And of course, he does have it looks like he has a tank alternate mode if this is what he's supposed to be. This is all conjecture and all rumor because we don't necessarily know if the character is supposed to appear in the movie at all, whether or not the Decepticons, except for maybe the Decepticons who are working with Scourge, are going to appear, as. So it's all up in the air at this point. This Rise of the Beast is looking to be like a pretty big movie, and whether or not I have my own personal gripes about certain things, I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of Transformers fans who are going to be lining up to see it because they've been itching for a big screen Transformers movie. But speaking of Megatron, of course, I have talked about this before. Takara is releasing a 2-pack with RodimusPrimal and Megatron in a premium finish. And with Megatron, it's the Kingdom figures, and this Megatron looks great. I've already talked about this before, but man, I absolutely want this 2-pack just for Megatron alone. But I mean, RodimusPrimal does look good too. And yes, the head is a different head sculpt. It's the one that they were supposed to be used on T-Rex, because I think what they ended up doing was they were supposed to use this head with the white teeth, and they painted white teeth over T-Rex. I could be wrong because I don't own that particular figure, but I do have the Kingdom Megatron and I have the Jurassic Park 2-pack. So, I do want this particular figure because it looks awesome, just straight up. On top of that, Takara is also releasing another 2-pack, and that is Scorponok and Rhinox. So if you liked the Kingdom figures, but you felt the paint job wasn't up to par, and you want these premium finish figures, or if you missed it the first time, then hey, this is right up your alley. Personally speaking, that Scorponok mold is not, I don't care for it. I've said it before, it's probably one of my, it's like on the bottom tier of my lists of figures in the entirety of the War for Cybertron Kingdom line. It was just like, I don't like this mold. And I like the character. I like that version of Scorponok. And I know that there's a third-party figure, but I wish it was scaled up a little bit, because I kind of feel like Scorponok should be a little bit taller, And it seems that they missed the mark when it comes down to it. However, in Rhino mode for Rhinox, he does look good too. I think that, the extra paint job that they're doing on him does add to the character. But the darker brown looks better, I think, on the Kingdom figure for Rhinox. So it's kind of like an easy skip for me. But Scorponok in Scorpion mode looks good, as you can see with the blue head and some of the, the silvery finish. Perhaps maybe that is like something that they felt that was missing, was trying to make the figure be a little bit closer to his, cartoon counterpart. But the other issue comes with like the way that the legs transform, the proportions. It just, the figure feels very off. Like it was probably one of my least favorite of them all, and it's like I only got it so that I would be a little bit more completionist with Kingdom and Season 1 and Beast Wars, and I wasn't feeling it at all. But the Optimus Primal and Megatron 2-pack is definitely on my list. Now, this came directly from Hasbro. I got an email from it, and I know that like a lot of the websites got an email about this. This was something that I raised a question myself personally. This was one of my questions to Hasbro about the packaging. I complained about it because I did not care for the window. I said that, hey, you're going to be losing. Number one, there's going to be a lot of collectors who are going to get angry about this. A lot of collectors are going to get angry about kids touching the action figure and getting it dirty or whatever. But on top of that, we saw another epidemic, and I raised the bar and asked the question. I said, people are going to LeBron James these figures. And they did. Like, quite literally, I called Hasbro out on this. I said, look, you're finding bulkhead figures. You're finding a whole bunch of different characters are missing heads when you go to the toy store. Not everywhere, but in a lot of areas that actually do stock their figures very well. Unlike, where I was living before when I did raise this question, the way that they stocked figures was terrible. But anyway, like people were sending pictures upon pictures upon pictures of Transformers on the shelf missing their heads. And it looks like they're finally answering that. Now, Power Rangers and Marvel Legends figures, they decided to do a closed box with them, and then Transformers was open box. But in this particular email that was sent to us, was interesting because it doesn't mention Transformers. It says, we wanted to share an update on packaging for Hasbro's 6-inch base scale figures. Based on your feedback, we will be reintroducing windows and blisters to our 6-inch fan figures beginning later this year into 2024 for select products across our portfolio of brands, including G.I. Joe Classified, Power Rangers Lightning, Star Wars Black, and Marvel Legends. This will expand to all new 6-inch figure releases. The new windows and blisters will be made from bio-PET or recycled PET, helping us achieve our priority of meeting our fans' expectations for extraordinary packaging and superior design while developing packaging that minimizes waste and the use of virgin plastic. Now, I said this before as well. It says, thank you for being one of our biggest fans and continued support of Hasbro. It's kind of funny that they say that because that was in everybody's email. Right? That was the thing that they had said. And I have to say, I am glad that Hasbro finally listened, because they're doing some crazy, stupid stuff. To give an example, they are, in Dungeons and Dragons, they're making some terrible decisions. When it comes down to, Power Rangers and Star Wars Black and Marvel Legends folks, they want the open packaging because they keep their figures in the box. If it's a 6-inch figure, there's a lot of MISB collectors, and it's harder to be an MISB collector if the box is closed. And Transformers, they know their demographic. It's exactly what Hasbro said to me was, oh, hey, we realize that Transformers fans want to be able to see the figure in the box before they buy it. So we decided to make sure the window was open. And of course, it led to a lot of theft. And I think that, Hasbro listening for this for the other collections is great and all. But I think that, Transformers being one of their top brands, they realize, like, if we don't do this for Transformers 2, some do something to prevent the shrink, Transformers, we're going to lose a lot of money. And no matter what way you look at it, no company in America that is based in America anyway is doing things to not gain a profit. And so I always thought that them doing this with the plastic-free packaging was merely a cost-saving measure, with the front of, look at us, we're environmentally friendly. Look at us, we're saving the planet by not using plastic, even though our figures are made out of plastic. And so they decided to turn around and actually get smart and say, okay, we'll use bio PET or whatever in order to try and like bridge that gap, because they're losing a lot of money because figures are getting stolen and figures are, you know, getting returned without the right figure in the packaging, which is a whole nother discussion for Walmart and how much Walmart employees care and Target employees actually care at customer service. But, you know, this is clearly something that Hasbro has to do in order to actually do some cost saving to prevent figures from having too much shrink. You have to decrease the amount of shrink when it comes down to the figures in general. And also, when the figures are getting shipped, they're getting damaged as well. Like with the 6-inch figures with the closed box, it's not a problem. But with Transformers, a lot of people have been complaining that the packaging has been an issue because it gets damaged, right? You end up with a Transformer that's like parts of it are smashed because there's nothing to prevent the plastic from, you know, giving some way for the figure. And it's an issue. It's a major issue. So I'm glad that Hasbro is finally paying attention, that they're finally doing something here. And I think that it's something that they should have done a while ago. But yeah, I honestly think this is a good measure. So I'm very, very pleased to actually hear that they have finally listened to fan feedback for, you know, some people say for change. I know that they do. I know that they absolutely do listen to fan feedback. But this was something that I was very adamant about when I brought it up to their attention. And I'm glad they're finally listening. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Check out my other videos as well. I have many more Transformers discussions, retrospectives, and more coming down the pipeline. So stay tuned for all that. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.